What?
Do you have some soap dish to us?
Why, I do. All right, so this new filmmaker named Paul Notice is sharing a little bit more about his latest project, Willow, and he self-submitted a 5-minute piece about...
You know that's what they do, right? They interview someone and then they cut down for time. Great, but I didn't send in 5 minutes. I sent in 31 minutes. All right? That was a lot of work. I know.
Okay, you're gonna mock me now. Thanks.
The email said that it was, you had to keep the answers to 5 minutes. So I think that meant that all the answers were
sometimes it feels like you're not on my side.
Each answer was 5 minutes.
I mean, how long do we go back? Right? You just show up to torture me? Is that what you do? Are you on my side or are you not on my side? Okay? How am I gonna? I have to explain the whole thing. They're asking these wild. I mean, look how complicated. How am I supposed to? That's a 5-minute answer. 5 other questions that were like that. I think as a new filmmaker, I've been doing this for a decade.
Yeah, well, Ulrich thought you were pretty interesting.
Ulrich did say I was interesting. You're right.
Why don't we just,
What? What's going on? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Release the whole thing.
That's brilliant.
The whole thing. The whole thing.
Hey, I am Paul Notice, the writer and executive producer of Willow. And yes, here are the answers to your questions. I know it's like a little bit of a different format. I had to remember all the things I wanted to talk about in the answers and stuff. So I wrote them down here. But apart from that, I'll do my best to be off book. Oh, also just thank you for bringing me on. I feel so honored to be on this podcast. I listen to us a lot. It's hilarious. Yeah, there's gonna be that strange thing. I have to hear my voice. All right, great. So I'm gonna go on and answer, and I will try my best not to lift it up too much. Go like this, maybe. Cool. So after 7 years of working on this film, why are you able to make it now? Sorry. So to answer your question really shortly, yeah, it was ahead of its time. This film was very heady. I mean, it's about people feeding on each other in order to survive. So that already is just a heady, what? Like, are you talking about vampires? Are you talking about zombies? Are we talking about some weird form of cannibalism or something like that? Like, where in the world do they get superpowers? Yes. You know, how far? What type of superpowers? Who gets these? How? Blah, blah, blah. Do they burn the sun? We don't know. Like, things like that where if you add that to just the, I would say, pervasive sense of white supremacy that just lives in regular, everyday, mainstream theater and cinema, it was hard to find people who would accept both the concept and the cast breakdown. And then on top of that, you have a all-black cast, all-black principal cast with 90% women as the characters. So during those 7 years, I got so much rejection. And shouts to the people that did say yes to like at least workshops and small things there. People who did want to like make this concept work or make this project work. But I got a lot of rejections, a lot. People were just like, what? All black women? I don't know. But I was ready for it. That script was written as a protest script. I'll give you some background. That script was written as a protest script. It was all the way back in grad school where I remember, and I won't name the professor's name because he meant well. It just was, it pushed me onto a path that I needed to be on, basically. You know, we had this one classroom where we would review different scenes that we would write for the class, and I had a play, And he was just trying to figure it out, and his question was like, it was for one of the characters, and he was just like, well, why is he a gay Latino man? Like, well, why is he that? And I was just like, but I was like, all right, fine, fair enough. Let's try to figure that out or whatever, because both him and the character were queer, so I was like, this is great. I get it. We can all have this conversation. What is queer identity on stage? But then it went further to asking like, why is this other character black? And I think at that point, it kind of like, one, made me be like, oh, you know what? Yes, they can be queer and they can be black and they can be whatever the fuck they want. Why does it have to be a straight white male on stage? Like, why is that the default? And, it just kind of hit me in the way where like, this is why I also felt like he meant well, because you're speaking from like both of our communities. Like you're basically trying to be like, well, what are you saying like with this character? And I can get that. It's an old school mentality of like representation politics, but it's also respectability politics, and it's also qualifying whiteness and straightness as the default, which is just like, So it set me on this course of writing this play. At the time it was a play, and then I changed it to a screenplay. But it set me on this whole course of writing that out as a way to prove that, hey, look, I can make a play that's all black women, and the one male character doesn't really have any real depth compared to the complexity of the female characters. All that male character wants to do is be a great partner to whoever he so happens to be lucky enough to be with. And that's it, right? Like just doing the reverse, right? The gender bending reverse of all these shitty action horror films that just don't know how to write for women or for queer characters or for black characters, for people of color. Like, I just got tired of it. So I wrote a script that would be the answer to all of that. Now, granted, over those 7 years, you have, Get Out, and Us, Lovecraft Country, Bad Hair is a really recent one. Beautiful writing, I love Bad Hair. There's been a slew of movies that have come out, but we're not looking for one savior. We need a movement of movies that are challenging this whole white supremacist, chauvinist, homophobic bullshit establishment that we have as mainstream media, and in a lot of indie films too. Like, let's not get it twisted. It's because it's an independent film doesn't mean that's gonna all of a sudden write a three-dimensional role for someone outside of what we perceive to be normal in America. So that's where Willow came from. 2013, there's a workshop with New York Theater Workshop. I went through so many revisions. I had to basically develop my editing, like video editing, cinematography, gaffing, lighting, everything, set design. I had to figure out all of those different types of skills and then be able to know them well enough to ask other professionals to fit this vision that I had for this project. For God's sakes, I got my Emmy. I knew how to make some really good things on film. I knew how to make and use editing and gaffing and lighting and sculpting light and everything else to my advantage, to the point where I felt confident enough that I could make the film that this script deserves. So that took time, and I had to find the right people. I think the reason why it's great now is because I found a capable and talented team of producers. I already have a script that is just finely tuned to like a T. Like every single sentence, every word, every piece of dialogue is layered, right? I had time to have it mature and think about it. And as I matured as a writer, I put that into the script. So I had all that at the beginning of 2020. And then the pandemic happened. And it did delay the movie, but ironically enough, we were like needing some funds for Star Capital just so we can shoot the trailer and the featurette, the proof of concept, so we can fundraise for more, right? I got the money to finance that and the equipment that we would use for shooting the trailer and also for other production things too. I got that through an SBA loan for my nonprofit. I have a nonprofit, it's a 501c3, the Nose Foundation. Its main effort is to further narratives and documentaries about perspectives and stories from marginalized communities. So BIPOC, queer, women, immigrant communities, the working poor, formerly incarcerated people, anything that's from those groups, we try to foster and develop into whatever it can be. Sometimes it's multimedia projects, sometimes it's a documentary series, you know, it goes on and on, the list goes on. We've done a lot of great work with that. So this is our first feature film, and it was made possible because of the efforts that the United States government went through, despite who's in the White House right now. The SBA alone, actually, ironically enough, and it worked for me. It's wild. So that's really what kicked off us being able to work our way through this pandemic. I had that. We were able to shoot. We were able to pull everything together. I mean, even just learning the safety guidelines from SAG-AFTRA for shooting in a pandemic. I mean, that by itself was a challenge, but we got through that. But it all started once I got approved for that loan, and once that money was there, what? It was game time. It's wild, actually. I keep thinking about this a lot, about how far I've come and how far of a change this original project, this project in its original form came from. It's wild. You know, this is just really me venting and writing the story that I wanted to write in my heart, that I felt a lot of my superiors and a lot of my elders felt like I shouldn't write. I just couldn't write, you know? And for a long time, there's no space for this project to exist apart from just a script and, you know, a couple of living rooms where we're just practicing and trying it out on its feet. And, you know what I mean? Like that, for a very long time, after that whole workshop, and New York Theater Workshop, that's what it was. It was just constantly meeting up and having a few dedicated friends that are there to help me out, you know? So, yeah. It's a long time coming, but it felt like it was the right time, because it was, you know? As soon as we had that opportunity, we went for it. Guys, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to show you the full thing. There's no beef with making movies, podcasts, or whatever. But I was like, damn, I definitely wish I would have shown more of this stuff. Because Liz definitely said that I showed the full thing, and I did not. I did not send in 5 minutes, girl. I sent in half an hour. And I will be releasing all of that for y'all to look at, because it is fucking dope. Actually, when I look back, I was like, well, I gave some good answers. I gave some good stuff that's just like some nice, meaty things to tell you a lot about the script and the history and the whole lore. Usually I ramble a lot. Y'all already know. If you talk to me one-on-one, you can hear me talk for ages about the whole 3-part trilogy that I'm picking up, and the script that I rewrote and wrote and wrote. Blah, blah. I can tell you a whole bunch. But this, I think I did a pretty good job of. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that first question. There's 5 more that are coming. And yeah, just tune in and support Willow. We have our last 9 days. Listen, if you're seeing this too late, don't worry. Go to the noticeblog.com/Willow or bit.ly/Willow Horror. You can go to one of those two and you can find all the information there and where you can support our awesome journey. We're actually offering the short film version of Willow, the first one. There's another one coming out too. We're offering that to whoever contributes to our campaign. So please, donate to our campaign, contribute to our campaign, support our campaign any way you can. Like and share this video. Like and share the links in the description below, or like and share links in the little links if I put it here. Just like and share it. Support it, throw money at it. Let's get this thing made. Even if we don't make this goal, we're gonna keep trying to make this movie. There's no stopping. I've been doing this thing for 7 years. There's no way that I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna make sure that this movie is gonna get made. Help and support this vision. Join me. Join me. Join me. Join me in this fantastic journey through time, space, and Afrofuturism. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, always question, always explore, and follow your dream! Happy holidays, y'all.